Hello students, in this video I'll talk about the ovarian folliculogenesis. This process which occurs in the ovary refers to the maturation as well as the conversion of the primordial follicle into a Graafian follicle. The onset of first menstruation is called as menarche. The usual age for menarche is 12 to 14 years. From birth to menarche, the ovarian weight is progressively increased, and this occurs due to increase in the volume of the developing ovarian follicles as well as increase in the stroma which surrounds these follicles. Now we are supposed to note over here the number of the ovarian follicles are not increasing. There are about 2 million primary oocytes in each ovary at the time of birth. Most of these oocytes will undergo atresia, and this number will fall to around 40,000 follicles at the time of puberty. Each oocyte is enclosed within a follicle, and this is called as the ovarian follicle. After birth, new oocytes are not formed. After the onset of menarche, the hypothalamic maturation leads to onset of ovulation in a cyclic manner, that is, a release of single ovum from the ovary at periodic intervals. Now there will be around 40,000 follicles at the time of puberty, and even after puberty, the atresia will still continue. During each cycle of approximate a month, some around 10 to 15 follicles enlarge to become the secondary follicles under the influence of the hormone, that is the follicle stimulating hormone, which is produced by the anterior pituitary. Out of these 10 to 15 enlarged follicles, only one follicle, which is called as the dominant follicle, proceeds to ovulation. So overall, only 300 to 400 follicles will mature and proceed to ovulation during the entire reproductive life of a woman, that is from menarche to menopause. Out of 15 to 20 secondary follicles, one follicle is allowed to grow into dominant follicle and released during ovulation of each menstrual cycle. So, how this follicle is selected? There is a competition between these follicles to become a dominant follicle. The dominant follicle selection is carried out by proliferation of small number of cells and apoptosis of a large number of cells. The more developed follicle will have higher sensitivity for the follicle stimulating hormone and also have got more FSH receptors. This follicle stimulating hormone is used to produce more and more of estrogen by the enzyme called as the aromatase. This high quantity of estrogen will exert negative feedback effect on the FSH secretion, and the concentration of this FSH will fall down. Now only the largest follicle, which has grown to nearly 20 millimeter because of the increased FSH concentration, should also have the ability to withstand and survive the low levels of the FSH due to the negative feedback mechanism. So the largest follicle, which has grown to its maximum size because of the enhanced FSH concentration, should also withstand the low levels of the FSH due to the negative feedback mechanism, and this follicle is called as the dominant follicle. When the FSH concentration falls, this very low concentration cannot stimulate other follicles, so they'll undergo apoptosis, otherwise called as atresia. The various stages of follicular development are stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and stage 4. The stage 4 is further divided into early and late tertiary stages. Stage 1 is otherwise called as the primordial follicular stage. In this stage, the ovarian follicle starts as a primordial follicle, which consists of a primary oocyte at the center of the follicle, and this oocyte is surrounded by a layer of spindle cells, and these spindle cells are called as the pregranulosa cells, and they are flattened in shape. These cells are destined to form the granulosa cells in the later stages. A basal lamina is formed outside the spindle cells. The size of the oocyte which is present within the primordial follicle is around 20 micrometers, and these follicles form the resting pool of the follicles in the ovary, but they mostly degenerate from the fetal life to the menopause. Now this oocyte enters into the first meiotic division, and the division is arrested in the prophase. The stage 2 is otherwise called as the primary follicular stage. In this stage, the primordial follicles get converted to the primary follicles. During this process, the pregranulosa cells are converted to the granulosa cells. As I said in the last slide, the shape of the pregranulosa cell is flattened, whereas the granulosa cells in this stage becomes cuboidal. The size of the oocyte which is present inside the follicle grows to around 140 micrometers. Now a thick glassy layer is formed between the oocyte and the granulosa cells, and this layer is called as the zona pellucida. So zona pellucida is a layer which is formed between the oocyte and the granulosa cells. This zona pellucida is composed of mucopolysaccharides, and this component is secreted by the granulosa cells. The plasma membrane of the oocyte is surrounded by a thick layer that is called as the zona pellucida. So the zona pellucida is a thick layer which is found between the oocyte and the granulosa cells. So outside the zona pellucida, you have a thin layer of the granulosa cells which is called as the corona radiata with respect to the oocyte. In this picture, we can see a primordial follicle. This primordial follicle formation is the first stage of the follicular development. This primordial follicle consists of a oocyte in the center, and this is surrounded by the pregranulosa cells. As I mentioned earlier, these pregranulosa cells are flattened in nature, and this primordial follicle gets converted into a primary follicle. This primary follicle again has the oocyte in the center, which is surrounded by the granulosa cells. The granulosa cells in the primary follicle are cuboidal in shape, and these cells form a single continuous layer around the oocyte. Stage 3 is otherwise called as the secondary follicular stage. In this stage, the primary follicle gets converted to the secondary follicle. During this stage, the granulosa cells divide and form several layers around the oocyte. So, the size of the follicle has increased enormously during this stage, and also the follicle is called as the preantral follicle in this stage. A layer of spindle cells is formed beyond the basal lamina, and this layer is called as the early theca cell, or otherwise called as the pre-theca cells, and this theca cell layer is destined pre-theca cell layer is destined to form the theca cell layer in the next stage. In this picture, we can see the primordial follicle. This primordial follicle consists of the oocyte, which is surrounded by a layer of pregranulosa cells. This pregranulosa cell is flattened in shape. This primordial follicle gets converted to the primary follicle. The primary follicle also contains a oocyte, which is surrounded by a single layer of the granulosa cells. These granulosa cells are cuboidal in shape. Now, this primary follicle will be converted to the secondary follicle. This secondary follicle also consists of the oocyte in the center, which is surrounded by multiple layers of the granulosa cells. The granulosa cell is further surrounded by the basal lamina. Beyond the basal lamina, you have got the cells called as the early theca cells. These early theca cells are destined to form the theca cells in the next stage. Stage 4 is otherwise called as the tertiary follicular stage, and this is the final stage of the follicular development. This is further divided into two substages, that is the early tertiary stage and the late tertiary stage. In the early tertiary stage, the early theca cells which surrounds the basement membrane will proliferate and differentiates into the proper theca cell layer. It is differentiated into theca interna and theca externa. This theca interna is the innermost layer which is present close to the basement membrane, and the theca externa is the outermost layer. Now, the theca interna cells multiply to form several layers, and these are the cells which have the ability to produce the steroid hormones. Whereas the theca externa cell always lie in a single layer, and this will provide mechanical support to the follicle. The theca cells receive both blood supply as well as the lymphatic supply, whereas the granulosa cells are avascular because the blood vessels cannot penetrate the basement membrane. Now, space which is filled with fluid is created in the middle of the granulosa cells, and this space is called as the antrum. That's why the follicle in this stage is called as the early antral follicle, and the stage is also called as the early antral stage, early follicular stage. The granulosa cells increases in number and also acquire receptors for the follicle stimulating hormone, and they start producing the estrogen. So in this picture, we can see an early antral follicle. This consists of an oocyte which is present in the center of the follicle. Between the oocyte and the granulosa cell layer, this is the granulosa cell layer. So between the oocyte and the granulosa cell layer, a space which is filled with fluid is present, that is called as the antrum. So the space filled with fluid which is present between the oocyte and the granulosa cell layer is called as the antrum. The granulosa cell layer is separated from the theca cell layer by means of the basement membrane. This basement membrane separates both the theca cells as well as the granulosa cells. The theca cell layer is of two types. One is the theca interna, which is present close to the basement membrane. The other one is the theca externa, which forms the outermost layer of the follicle. Now we'll see how the theca interna cell interacts with the granulosa cell to produce estrogen. So the theca cell starts producing androstenedione from cholesterol. As I said earlier, the theca interna cell are present in multiple layers, and they are the site of production of the steroid hormones. So this cell starts converting cholesterol to androstenedione, and this androstenedione will reach the granulosa cell, and now the FSH hormone can act on the FSH receptors present on the granulosa cell. So this granulosa cell has got both FSH receptors as well as LH receptors, that is a follicle stimulating hormone receptors as well as luteinizing hormone receptors. Now the follicle stimulating hormone will act on its respective receptor, and this will increases the activity of the enzyme aromatase, and this enzyme will favor the conversion of androstenedione to estradiol inside the granulosa cells. So high amount of estrogen is produced by these granulosa cells. Now the theca cell has got LH receptors. Now the estradiol which is produced by the granulosa cells will act on the will stimulate the LH receptors so that more of LH will be produced, and this will enhance the conversion of cholesterol to androstenedione. That is, the LH, increased LH concentration will stimulate the synthesis of the androgens from the cholesterol. So the high estradiol can stimulate the theca cells also to increase the synthesis of the androgens. So when more androgens are formed, these androgens will reach the granulosa cell and will be converted to estrogen. So this will be present in higher quantities. This late tertiary stage is a most rapid stage of development, and this occurs only in the post-pubertal ovary. The maximum diameter achieved during this stage is 25 millimeter. After 5 to 7 days of the onset of menstruation, a single follicle becomes the dominant follicle for that cycle. The follicle in this stage is called as the Graafian follicle, and that's why the stage is also called as the Graafian follicular stage. The size of the antrum as well as the amount of fluid inside the antrum are increased significantly, and this will push the oocyte to the periphery of the follicle. The antral fluid contains the mucopolysaccharides. This gets depolymerized, and this will increase the osmotic pressure of the fluid. Because of this, the pressure within the follicle becomes very high, and the granulosa cells in this stage are divided into three compartments: antral, cumulus and mural granulosa cells. The granulosa cells which lines the antral cavity are called as the antral granulosa cells, and the granulosa cells which surrounds the oocyte is called as the cumulus granulosa cells. The granulosa cells will project into the antrum like a mound, and this is called as the cumulus oophorus. Now the granulosa cells which are attached to the basement membrane are called as the mural granulosa cells. The follicle in this stage, that is the Graafian follicle, is otherwise called as the pre-ovulatory follicle because it is ready for the ovulation during this stage. Just prior to ovulation, the first meiotic division is completed. So this is the picture of the Graafian follicle where we can see the oocyte which is present in the center of the follicle. This is the granulosa cell layer. So the space between the oocyte and the granulosa cell layer is called as the antrum, and this space is filled with fluid. So between the oocyte and the granulosa cell layer we have a fluid filled space that is called as the antrum. Beyond the granulosa cell layer there is a basement membrane. The basement membrane is surrounded by the theca cell layer which is composed of theca externa and theca interna. Now the granulosa cells which surrounds the oocyte is called as the cumulus granulosa cells, and these granulosa cells will project into the antrum like a mound, and this is called as the cumulus oophorus. In this picture we can see the cut section of ovary where the oocyte which is present in the center surrounded by a layer of pregranulosa cells is called as the primordial follicle, and this primordial follicle gets converted to primary follicle. In this primary follicle, the pregranulosa cells in the primordial follicle are getting converted to granulosa cell layer, and this is a single layer. Now this primary follicle is getting converted to secondary follicle. So in the secondary follicle, multiple layers of the granulosa cells are formed. Now the secondary follicle is converted to tertiary or the antral follicle. In this follicle, theca cell layer is formed which is composed of theca externa and interna, and an antrum is formed in the middle of the granulosa cells. This antrum is filled with fluid. The late tertiary stage is called as the Graafian follicular stage, and the rupture of the Graafian follicle causes the ovulation. In this video, I had elaborately discussed the various stages of follicular development and how a Graafian follicle is formed. In my next video, I'll continue with the discussion how this Graafian follicle ruptures and causes ovulation. Thank you.